Hello, I'm Will Forge, and today we will forge, continuing on my second project, which I am working on with Klen. He's doing scripting off in another version of the map. Probably an empty version he's making on his own, because I don't think he has access to this one technically, because I haven't been able to give him access so far. And then we're gonna work on more. Ooh, are my special effects actually loading? Interesting. Did they change something? It looks like they might have changed something. All of my special effects are loading. Either it's because we quit and came back in after changing all of the lights, or they did something to the script, to the code. There wasn't an update, so I assume there was some kind of bug that has been fixed by quitting and coming back in. Let's go check the waterfall. The waterfall is definitely still bugging out. Let's see. Okay, so let's see now if these, are bugging out. Then let's go back over here and see if these are still all loading in. Because it could be that it was only because I hadn't gone close to the other ones yet. The electricity, those electricity ones are no longer coursing. These are going, these fire ones are going, and every now and then that, nope, now the fire shut off. I'm beginning to think that one of the special effects, one of these FX, might be the reason that all of them are breaking. Let's see. Hey, I see someone has joined the stream. I'm beginning to wonder, and I would need help with this. I would need people to come in and like help me like narrow this down. But I'm beginning to think that one of these effects that I have placed, I can make a list of all the ones that I have on the map so far. One of them is, I think, breaking the sequence. It might not be amount of effects. I think because, look, it gets worse over time. Like, at the beginning, they were all loading, and now, they were all loading over there, and now it's doing these, and these are, like, not loading at all. Do you see what I mean? Like, it seems weird that these would all load in and work just fine right out of the gate, and then eventually start to fail. And I guess it was because I flew over there, maybe, but anyway, what I'm thinking is that as it renders them all, one of them might be causing a delay in like when it can render. You know what I mean? Because it might have some kind of like code problem that's causing a bit of delay. And then whenever that delay hits, it delays all of them after that because it's trying to do them in a loop. So it goes down the line and it's rendering them all just fine. And then I came over here, and whenever... Is one of these lights pulsing? Or is it the smoke, the steam? Yeah, it's whenever the steam hits the light. Interesting. I don't think I can put that there. Anyway, so basically what I'm saying is, it's possible it's going down the line and it's hitting one of them or two of them or like a few of them, maybe the water ones, for example, might all have it. And it might be related to like their audio clip or something. But anyway, one of the effects might be getting to that one, and it's delaying every one after that, and then so every time it loops and gets that one again. Does it break in customs as well? I had some issues that only really happened in Forge Mode. That's a really good question. I haven't checked. Let's do that, and I'm gonna turn on the cam so we can just fly around. What do you call it? Machinima mode. Let's do that. I have not checked that, so I'm glad you asked. Let's see. Because if it works just fine in you know, in here in custom game, then you're right. Oh no, wait, no, damn it, I forgot to turn on machinima mode. Forgot that's in here, and now it's just gonna go in. Well, I gave myself vehicles right at the spawn, so I'll just drive around, I guess. Might be cooler to drive around anyway. I could even drive to one of the flying or grab one of the flying vehicles and just do that, like a wasp, so I can hover. But yeah, but you're right. That's a really good point.
Slayer.
Have you guys ever heard that?
Out to seize the enemy.
Why was it so high pitched? Like you've been eating helium? Like huffing helium? Lamal, the helium effect. Oh, is that... Oh my god, is that actually something I turned on? Okay, the waterfall looks great over here so far. Let's see if it ends. If it stops looking good. Okay, the one's up in the river. No, yep, the waterfall eventually came to an end. So, I mean, I think it's because I have too many effects. But I didn't want to delete all of my effects. I've been narrowing it down in certain places. Like, these used to be effects, and now they're just lights. They're just light cones inside there. What is exploding? Oh, it's they're exploding inside there. That's weird. And then these beams used to be effects as well, but now they're just light beams. And so I've been sort of trying to narrow down my effects and reduce them the last couple of... What's the effects budget at? 200 and something, 280%. But the one in Waterworks, I'm over 300%, and it's still just fine. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Yeah, they are definitely having some kind of weird issue in here that wasn't happening before. Okay, I think it's just this one. It might be misaligned somehow, because the rest of them don't have debris floating around. That one's somehow twisting. The rest of them seem to be working just fine. Being sent up through the tube into what should be right there in effects that looks like a fusion. Oh, there you go. A slip space portal. But yeah. Oh, that's not even that high. Yeah, exactly. It really isn't, and I don't understand what's going on. And I'm thinking, and it was working just fine before I did, or it was working the exact same, with the same amount of, basically the exact same, whenever I had an effect at the top of each of these. I had 4 effects instead of these light cones, and I had 2 of this plasma ball in every single one of these 4 towers. So that's like, what, 16? Something like that? Wait, hold on. 1 plus, like, 6 per tower times 4. So 24, you know, effects that I cleared out and replaced with light cones or deleted entirely. And then down here, I think I deleted one of the water layers for the shield barriers that created the water-looking layer. And then over here, I deleted some of the stuff, like some of the fire and stuff. But anyway, the point is that, like, this whole, you know, the map has significantly less than it had before, and it didn't put an impact in it at all, so I don't think it's the amount of effects going off. It might be something, it might be, you know, some other issue. I mean, I am noticing that I'm putting this fog right into where these lights are, and it's creating a problem, so I'm gonna have to not do that, and move these autumn trees, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think I've got to find some other, I don't remember when it started, so I think I might delete, thank you, Mr. Greencastle. I think I might delete these trees. Well, I didn't realize I had put that poking out over there. I think I need to bury that now in sand. Unless I want to make like another, you know, waterfall or something coming down here, or some means of showing it's saturated. Yeah, it must be one effect that is throwing things off. Yeah, I'm thinking that's the case. That, like, I placed one effect at some point, and as soon as I put that effect down, it made all of the like whenever it goes through the loop to render all of the effects, it gets to that effect and it's delaying rendering the rest of them, which is causing the entire list to mess up. But it's not necessarily going in a sequence like a discernible pattern. So I think that what might be happening is I have 2 of that effect, but I didn't place them back to back, so they're randomly in the call list of effects. So I've got like two random ones that'll like, it'll hit one, it'll delay all the rest of them, and then it'll go through and render some more, and then it'll hit the next one and delay all the rest of them, and it's just making the pattern look really weird and jumbled. But I can't seem to figure out what it is, and it might be these these plasma beams are the first things I put down, and they weren't the problem at the beginning, so I know that those shouldn't be the problem. The plasma balls are probably not the problem. I think the main thing it started with was whenever I built this waterfall and everything, and it was working great for a while, and then I did something. I guess I started the lava. When I started the fire-based ones was whenever... Oh, you know what it could be? The fire does something special. The fire actually is something special, because the fire deals damage to you whenever you stand in it. And it might be that whenever the fire checks to see if someone's standing in it, it delays the rendering of the next effect. Because it's like, hold on, check if there's an object in this, inside my area. And then it's like, there is, it's this floor, you know, rock or whatever. And then it goes, okay, deal damage to that. Okay, cool, now you can start moving on from here. And maybe because I put that down, that's the last, like, this area is just too light. One of them creates a fog, one of them creates the gobo effect and glow. And then there's a lightning, like, coursing thing that I added after I didn't put any of those floor electricities until after the delay. So I'm going to delete these fires and see if that has something to do with it. If it immediately fixes it, then we know exactly what it was. We've weeded out the problem, and I can notify 343 that the fire effects are causing this problem. But for now... yeah, that could be it. Like, if the entire FX rendering pipeline is hitting a stop because the fire is trying to check if something... That would also mean that, like, it's trying to deal damage, so, like, it has to do that no matter how far away from the fire you are. I fly all the way over here, and, like, the lightning may stop rendering and become just a yellow glow or something like that. You know, the plasma balls may... But the fire over there may not stop rendering because of how... Because it needs to be able to deal damage to objects that fall into the fire as well, not just players. Oh my god. The announcer being helium. I need to fix that. I can't do helium, apparently. I thought that helium would make explosions and stuff like that sound different, like you were in space, but I guess I should just use space or something if I wanted to do that. But I don't know if I'm going to do that at all. I just forgot that I put it on helium. Anyway, so the point is that, yeah, the fire would make sense if that's the problem, so I'm going to delete that and see if that works. Let's do that. Let's end the match and go over there. Just try deleting the fire and see if it does anything. Yeah, exactly. I gotta get back into Forge to do it, though, obviously. Maybe one is much more demanding, exactly. So, if it's the fire, that would make sense because fire deals damage. And if that's the case, then they need to make... one way they could fix it would be to make it so that the effects don't deal any damage ever, and to make, like, in the area where they have kill balls... Let's see. Forge. Load. Latest version. Even though that's just the save that it created when I backed out. If they made it to where they're in the same folder that they have the kill balls, they could make things that deal damage over time, like fire, that you could maybe scale, that you don't, so that you don't have to create a script that does it, because that would use up a lot of your nodes on your map. And they could determine, they could let you create, like, set how much damage it actually deals with a node, or I mean not with a node, with a in the object properties. And then they wouldn't have to tie it to that to one fire, and you could scale it up. You could be like, yeah, this is electricity across the floor. I want people to get damaged whenever they walk in it, and also I want to and whenever they take damage from this source, I'm going to make a script brain that says if they take damage from this source, then they also get slowed by like 25%. So it's like their suits being shorted out a little bit, and whenever they walk through this electricity, and you could do stuff like that with that. So I think that would be a fantastic idea if they were to go ahead with it. But like if the attacking object is equal to, you know, this area. Okay, so let's try that. Let's just delete the fire, which is, I believe, this UNSC fire medium. UNSC fire medium. Okay, these well, okay, I don't know if it's because I deleted them or if it's just because there are 2 less effects, but immediately the plasma ball started lighting up. And it does do it periodically, so it wouldn't load necessarily right this second, but the floor is constant. Let's go check the waterfall. Okay, so the waterfall is not exactly entirely rendering all at once. Let's see if it's going to eventually get to that point. Okay, so everything kind of seemed to be rendering for a second there, but it's all still pretty intermittent. Yeah, I know. It all started with Season 3 at the exact same time that I placed those down, too, so that's what has been my working theory, is that Season 3, they're updating effects so that they work better so that you can scale them and stuff like that for Season 4. So, I don't know if this is going to, you know, I don't know if this is related to that or if this is something else. They do seem to be more stable right now. They're not all playing at one time, but and I'm pretty sure they're supposed to. But yeah, the effect render pipeline, the waterfall is definitely more consistent now. Exactly. So it could be number of effects, but it also could be that the number of effects I have on the map is only a problem because of the changes, the upgrades they're doing to effects in the first place, like scaling effects and stuff like that, which is what we were theorizing before, so I'm thinking that's probably what it is. But yeah. Oh, right, I'm hitting the effect cone. So, anyway, yeah. I just keep on every single time I come in here, I try and do something. Here's another possibility. It was around whenever I placed these trees that I started noticing it, and there's a lot of lights in these trees. Because that's how Aaron had to make them orange, was to put a ton of lights in them from like all different angles to make them shift color. So I might, this one's glowing in this weird, in the fog anyway, so I'm going to delete this one for sure and see if that does anything. And I might delete the other one as well, but no, it's not. That would do something if it was going to do something. You know what I mean? We would have noticed immediately a change. So I don't think I should delete the second one. I like this one over here. And it's outside of the fog enough that it's not glowing on anything. Well, I say that, but there is actually fog around here somewhere. And it might be around there. And it's just not puffing, because the effects aren't going off like they're supposed to. I can't wait to scale effects too, because like if I can just scale this one to be whiter, you know, just scale it out like a flat panel, then I could have one steam effect over here, do this entire row instead of having 2. And then over here as well, so there'll just be 1 and then like 1 across the front here, so I'd just have 3 effects instead of 6. And that would actually reduce my effect calls, you know, pretty substantially. But yeah, the waterfall is definitely more consistent. I tried to ask people in my last stream if they'd go check their own maps that might have waterfalls in them. And let me know and give me, but no one came back and told me anything, so I assume they didn't check them. But yeah. The way this is doesn't make any sense. If that water were going over that, it would pour down into this bowl of an area, so I definitely need to adjust this a bit. Which means I need to move this all with it. And I think that what I need to do is actually turn off rotation snap and go this way. That is not what I wanted to do. Okay, let's turn off the magnets for a second here. And then that got that rock from poking through. Now we need to raise this up above the water line. That would probably still flow over a little bit. I'll just put a rock there or something. Like this is, if I go any higher, it's going to poke up through the ice. So let's just do this. Yeah, that looks good. And then I'm just going to put a rock there. Possibly another one of these that'll inherit the sand effect. Just shrink it down really, really small so you don't notice it's a same rock. Ooh, that looks terrible. That is not what I should do. Let's see, I would check Whiterun, but I'm not near my Xbox, unfortunately. Yeah. Well, whenever you get to be able to do it, just let me know. Because it might be my map. I might have done something with too many effects or something like that, and it might just be it's so too many, like such a high number, that no matter what I do right now, it's just not fixing. You know what I mean? I think this would work. I just need to get a better angle. Or it should be the other way around. Let's see. Ooh, why the heck did that happen? Okay, there we go. Gaming. Hey Aaron, how's it going? Aaron, would you mind checking your waterfall map if you're near your console or anything? And let me know if you're having the same effects issue as with your waterfall as I'm having with mine. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, with the effects are like not loading properly. Let's see. I wonder when they are gonna fix the texture on that rock. I hope they never do. Because if they do, then this all just becomes regular dirt rock. I mean, it'll still have that layer. Well, actually, that might be inheritance as well, because it always seems to line up horizontally with something. But I hope they don't fix this one, but add one that doesn't have it, and then add a bunch more that do have it, intentionally. Like, if every single one of these rocks could have a toggle that could turn on inheritance, that would be amazing. Like, you could make it look wet and also covered in sand, for example, in this case. Or make it look like it's covered in algae, and then also... Effects not loading in is because you have too many effects on the map. Yeah, but I've deleted a ton, and there's no change. There's not really any change. I mean, and it didn't happen gradually over time. It was like, all of a sudden, the season... not the season 3, or was it the season 3 update? It was, anyway, one of them hit, maybe that last update with the forge stuff, I forget what it was. One of the updates hit, and then overnight, yeah, you have to delete all of them and restart. What? Really? They definitely will fix it, because people used it in previous maps, and the TI has ruined their maps. I wonder when they are gonna fix the texture. Okay. So, you're telling me that to fix this issue, I would have to delete all effects on the map and then replace them. I can see them adding a new TI variant, though. I would love them to add a new TI variant, and I think that it'd be better for them, or for all of the Forge creators, if they left this one as a TI variant. Maybe even updated it to make it work even better as a TI variant. And then added a new, like I was saying, add a new one that doesn't have the TI. That instead of, so everybody who placed this already placed it here knowing it has TI. So it makes sense to leave this as a TI variant and then place a new one. But anyway, that's why I did my forest scene in one sitting and uploaded to Twitter. Used all those rocks. Yeah, you wanted to avoid them potentially doing updates that messed it up. Well, anyway. At least it's a little bit better. I deleted the fire effects, Aaron, thinking that maybe because they call for damage to be done to a player, that they were effects that would cause worse. That would do something extra. I might have to put them back down if they're not the problem. But, especially since I want something to do damage to you while you're in this, and I don't want to have to script it, because then that would take up our scripting budget, which we need for our other stuff. But, anyway. Okay, so, I still haven't gotten this to a full finish. I have more effects I wanted to place, so that's kind of, you know, depressing, for the effects budget and all that. Is it because I exceeded 100%, or is there like an actual... Or is it because of certain effects that I'm using, like maybe some effects are more potent than others, and I need to delete those? But anyway, I don't know. I think they need to fix their render distance for effects, personally. Like, somehow... Like, the effects on the other side of the map should not cause a problem for these effects. You know what I mean? I've got, like, hardly any on this side. They're so far away. They disappear at distance anyway. Stop rendering them, you know? It's a limit around 200%. Gotcha. But in Waterworks, I have over 300%. And I still... It's rendering just fine. Is it because of... Oh... You know what it could be? Too many variants of effects. Like, okay, I have almost all energy barrier effects in Waterworks. That puts me over 300 something %. I forgot if I have anything else that I have in that map, but I'm pretty sure it's literally all of my energy barriers down below that make the water in Waterworks that is causing it. It might be because I have shield barriers, you know, splashes, steam, plasma, plasma balls, electricity on the ground. All of these different unique effects are loading into RAM different textures that need to be used in their animations. So when you add in something that, like, if you have a whole bunch of, like, they might use the same texture for this lightning as they use for that lightning, and then they just animate it differently in their texture, in their what do you call it, the effects. Which would mean that if I use all the exact same splash instead of different size splashes, it wouldn't really help me because they use the same texture. But if I use energy barriers and splashes and steam all for this area, then I've now taken up 3 of my unique effects. And then as soon as you go over 200%, like you're saying, and doing all of that at the same time, it could be causing the problem. But, yeah, I still don't know if that's the case. I'm just hypothesizing. But yeah. The other thing to note regarding your effects budget is that weapons and game type objects also count as effects. Yeah. That's true. In Waterworks, I do have a bunch of, you know, it could be the weapons. I can delete this now. I don't need that. That was a test of the launchers. Well, I don't know. Weird game, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I said I don't know, and then I looked up at your text, and I saw that you said I don't know, and I just didn't even read that part. I was like, I already said that. I subconsciously was just like, I already said that. I just said that. I'm going to start this building from scratch. This one is, like, I feel like it's got something like technical debt in it kind of thing, where I've already built it partially, and I'm like, I need to move it up, and a whole bunch of other stuff is just going to break it, and a whole bunch of other things, so I feel like I'm going to just start over here, where I know I've got the right height for the platform, and everything like that, and I'm just going to go from here. And do this one. Why do I have this piece going so far? Let's see. Snap it, 45 degrees. And move. Ooh, it's one of those. I forgot about that. Okay, well. Let's see. These FPS drops are rough. It's bizarre having a soft limit and not knowing when things might actually break. Yeah, I think that's why they try. They're talking about they want it to be a hard limit, or they wanted it to be a hard limit to begin with, and they're not going to change it. But they're because they determined that the soft limit was probably better and let us figure it out. But that also means that they can update it over time without it being weird. So FPS drops are rough. Is that what you're talking about with the my own visuals? Because I did close the game and reopen it after changing the graphics back down for the texture. I could bring. I don't remember what we changed. I'll have to go back to that stream whenever I upgraded all of my graphics settings, so I can go back to how it was. Because, let's see, test. You're running around low, 20 seconds right now. Am I? I think it's me. Oh yeah, you're right. 22 FPS. Okay. I'm gonna try and bring this down a little bit, back to where it was before, because I had what all did I do? Terrain quality, simulation quality. I think I did have that high. Flocking quality. I don't remember what all I had upgraded, trying to see if I could get the visuals to look better, but yeah. Oh, lighting quality is on ultra. Let's bring that down. That'll do it. Let's see. Yeah, anyway, we're still at 22 FPS, I'm not sure why. Ah, weird. I could only move forward and back. Okay, brought up to 25. Nope, now it's going back down to 22. What is causing that? 24. It's awful. But anyway. Okay. Okay, I think it's whenever I look at that thing. Because whenever I look away, it goes back up. And then whenever I look at that yellow, at that thing, it goes back down. Okay, here's an idea, actually. Let's see, it's all the dynamic cranes. Yeah, let's just go all low. That's what's causing it. No, I think you're right. It is the cranes. Okay, so here's the thought about what might cause the effects budget to fix if it's like delete all of them and bring them back in. Boy, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this right this second because I still haven't sorted these folders back out yet. Okay, so basically what I was thinking was if I tell them to not render and I bring them back in for every single effect on the map, will that help? What is this? Oh, it's my little Spartan. It's just an S because I named it. Thought I named it Spartan. That's weird. I must have accidentally named this one S as I was going or something. Anyway, I don't need it anymore. I can place one down later because I prefabbed it. Anyway, yeah. So that thing's really annoying. So let's try and find it in the folders and turn it off for a second. Let's see. What is that thing called? Crane? Maybe? No. Okay, we're gonna find it, I guess. Oh, I can look at it. What am I talking about? It's called Gantry Crane. Gotcha. I'll just select them both. Go in here. And, we're gonna place an empty subfolder, so I don't have to find them again in the future. We're gonna rename the subfolder to Cranes. And then we are going to lock and turn off that folder. There. Let's see if that will stop their rendering so that it gets a little bit smoother. If I fly over here, it'll get a little smoother now. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm not moving around. Whenever I don't move around toward the center of the map so much, it's not as much of a problem anymore. They always end up with weird symbols instead. See, prefab names periodically break. They always end up with weird symbols instead. Really? That makes sense, because I haven't really used too many named prefabs. I usually just call them prefab 0 or prefab 1 or whatever they end up automatically being. And not periodically they start themselves over. So this obviously is just a placeholder to show the idea of this building. I hadn't quite decided what it was going to be, but I think I figured it out. Because what this looks like to me, like I literally was just like, I want it to have this shape so that you have these sort of like, this sort of like ability to approach the tank. The tank is going to spawn there, so you can shoot at you from up there, or it can come down there and try and shoot up at you. But as you're approaching this base, I wanted these sort of columns you can run between to make your way across, and the tank is going to have to time their shots and shoot through the columns and hit you by hitting the wall behind you or something like that, but you might be able to distance yourself from that, and it makes some interesting sort of encounter there. But the idea was that I wanted that, and I wanted the wall behind it to be far enough away in the middle to where it's like actually possible to avoid the death from the tanks. So this shape was perfect for it, and I was like, wow, that's great. So I placed this here as a placeholder, but what I ended up thinking was that I would like this to have a couple of floors, like catwalks, so it's not just, or at least one extra floor halfway up or something like that. So it's not just this weird structure. And I want walls, and I want that kind of stuff, and I was like, you know what I just realized? This is what I just realized would be perfect for that. Accents, vehicles, saber. This can be a saber launch zone. Launch point. Right here. And if this is a saber launch point from, you know, right here, it would make a whole lot of sense, you know, for having this, like, cutout. This is like a vehicle depot where they build tanks, and they might also do maintenance on sabers in the same exact spot. That would explain why this rises out of the ground, and then the tanks start spawning. But then until then, this is here is because you need to start building this thing pronto. So this whole crane system is going to have to be there automatically because it's not dynamic objects. But anyway. If this rises up out of the ground, you've got this cool saber here, it would make, like, this building would just feel a lot cooler. And that would also, of course, just like on launch site, give you this natural, like, you know, shield from enemy fire. You can be up, if I put a catwalk right at the height of the cockpit, and of course this can be a dynamic object very easily, but if we put a catwalk right at the height of the cockpit, like, and with a little, like, area that comes around the cockpit, like, that looks like it extends out, and, like, goes around it. And then we put another one down, like, halfway through for, like, the maintenance crew to do maintenance on the engines. And we can put, like, little fuel spots that were, like, with maybe even little cables that look like hoses that would go to the, to refuel the thing. And then down at the very bottom, we'd have possibly some little entryways that lead up to those. Now, how we're going to decide how to get up to those catwalks, we could put staircase on the back, maybe? Going back and forth. Oh, here's another thing. Oh, you got another thing? Or we could do grav lifts, because we want this thing to be more quickly accessible. These are going to support part of the structure, so having them sort of connect over there and have, like, a top layer would also be cool. Certain sun settings cause drops. Really? Oh, you know what might be causing this? I know what might be causing this. Yep. Atmosphere. Volumetric fog is on at 0.01 density. It made it look a little cooler, so I left it. But that might be causing the FPS drops. Because volumetric that is something I've never experienced. Let's see. Is that better or the same? Looks the same. Still 33%. It is not the volumetric fog. Okay, which one is it then? Do you know? It's to do with dynamic shadows from the sun itself. Okay. Which one is that? Wind, directions, screen effects, decorators. Oh, you know what that might mean? Wait, hold on. Video. Shadow quality. It's still on ultra. Let's tone that down a bit. Not really much of a change, but I don't remember what it was before. If my shadow quality was set to medium before, then that might do it. Let's see that. Where did that go? Shadow quality. They don't have this in alphabetical order. 30 FPS. Look at that. Immediately, whenever I set to medium, jumped up to a solid 30. Okay. Well. The shadows don't look as pretty, but at least the lighting does. Still looks just as pretty. But yeah. Try everything your sun intensity. Try reverting your sun intensity. Wouldn't that require me to hit the revert all button and revert everything I did about the sky? Because I don't want to do that. But I did just... It looks like this worked. Oh yeah, turn off helium while I'm here. You're right. That's a good point. FX, dust heavy, decorate... Let's see, where's the... Oh wait, is it down here? It's down here. Helium. There we go. It was actually on that. Okay, so there's none helium in space. Space makes everything sound weird. And it actually would make sense. I put the really thin atmosphere. Like, this would actually, like, scientifically make sense for what I'm doing with this map. And the, like, the no blue sky, so it's, like, no atmosphere. And I love it, but unfortunately, I think it's too intense for most players. Like, this is kind of what would happen. But but if you had, I think most players would want this to be like half as intense. Like if I could turn this on and then like reduce the amount that it affects the sound down to like 50% of what it is right now, then players would be okay with it. Like right around 50%, maybe even like 40 or 30%, like really low, just a slight shift. then players would probably be fine with it, but right now this is too much. I don't think anybody would like that. Even though, realistically, space has no sound, and that amount that it was just affecting it would be where this light, this very weak atmosphere that's sort of glowing orange there at the distance, that sort of weak atmosphere would sound really weird, more like that. But I'll just leave it at normal. Anyway, we had to do this on Unique's Beaver Creek. That's why that map got an entire overhaul. I see. Because you had to revert the sun settings. So, you know, the audio effect is, you know, having to be turned off. I think, realistically, it has to be turned off, but it's kind of lame. Oh well. Okay, so these things could be theoretically turned into part of the scaffolding that, like, holds the saber up, like the launch scaffolding. It might also make sense to put a... Okay, I'm trying to think of where I want the staircase. Like, if I put, like, a crisscross staircase on this side, right? Or maybe a grav lift or something, and then a crisscross staircase on the back end of the building. I think it'd be pretty cool. It'd also be kind of cool to have a crisscross on both sides of it, this side and that side. And then have the back end be something else. I'm trying to think of how I want to decorate, like build this, because it's all going to be dynamic objects. I can't just like start throwing things together. I've got to figure it out before I go. We found out what happened whenever I started throwing that one together. It wasn't that great. But this one, I knew what I wanted because I knew I had that shape at the bottom. This thing. Oh, I'm hitting a door. I'm hitting an airplane. I had this thing and I was like, this is exactly what I want for my floor. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to duplicate this and like snap it into position basically. And then scale it vertically down. And this will be my floor piece that the building is going to rise out of. Just like, basically just like that. And that's going to sort of be the footprint that this building is going to rise out of. And that one's doesn't have to be dynamic. That one's static because it doesn't need to. Whoa, what was that? Wait, didn't I turn those off? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I specifically turned, oh my god. Stop rendering. Is it because I changed one of the graphical settings so they just randomly started rendering those cranes again? That was weird. Anyway, so yeah, that little footprint there is going to be really cool, I think. And hopefully, and then the building's going to rise up out of it. It's claiming I am at negative 3 viewers right now. This is what I'm talking about with YouTube lying to me all the time. Look at this. Look at this. Negative 3 viewers. That's not even possible, YouTube. You just keep on, it will randomly claim that people are leaving, and then I'll see the same number of people talking in chat, so I know you're not there, not gone. And right now, it is telling me negative 3 viewers. How is that gonna, I hope that isn't going to affect my calculation for, like, how many viewers I got on average today, and stuff like that. Like, what the hell? Anyway, that's really weird. But anyway, okay, so obviously this would have to be colored and textured if I want to use it, but I think there's actually another version that might be better. The vehicles multiplayer might already have its texture. No, but man, I think it's got a higher quality texture. Is that my imagination? Yeah, look at this. Like, you can see, like, the muddiness of it. But over here, it's like... Oh, I see. Wait, it's just got textures applied to it, doesn't it? It might be the... I mean, the MP, I think, are supposed to be the ones that have better textures on their own. But I don't know if I can retexture this. It might just be this weird gray color. Which would be lame. So, yeah. Yep. Sabers aren't that gray color. Okay, well, good to know. Shadows were the problem. Yeah, exactly. That and it, whenever I changed the settings, it started respawning and rendering the animated cranes again, which was unexpected. Okay, so we can pick some big green style. Oh, it's doing its thing. Right. Forgot about this bug for a second there. There we go. And then we need the canopy to be a darker gray. Which color is this? This is not the canopy, is it? Oh, it's that stripe. Okay, that one can be... Let's see, we are... what if I did that one as the team color of the side that you're on? Okay, this is just going back and forth between the colors again. I think that I chose this one as the blue team color. Oh, this is on red side. I think that'd be pretty cool. Be like, yeah, no, these guys also do simulations in space. You're just not part of that right now. It's like these have to have team colors on them so that they can, you know, they can go into space and continue their firefight up there. But right now you're not part of that. We're not doing that test right now. Okay, and then we need to do this one. Honestly, I think this one would be like the dark... Oh, actually, this color is pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Do y'all think it should be the same color? I mean, this building isn't going to be this color, actually. This is just a shape. I just realized. And I like that scaffolding sort of effect of those. So I'm totally going to include something like that. And I need pipes to sort of be like signifying how you're refueling this thing. And a whole bunch of other stuff involving like built around this. This is giving me some cool ideas. Up to you. Yeah. I think that if it was in front of a building that's a solid color like this and it was the same color, it would look terrible. But I think that it's not going to look like that in the end. So I think I am going to keep this. Let's see. I don't think we need rust. I'm going to go with sand, like it's been a while since they ran their space flights, because no player has ever, you know, space combat, because no player is going to be able to participate in the space combat, so I might as well. Let's go all the way to 100 and see what that looks like. Absolute dog shit. Let's go with 0.2. Yeah, that looks fine. Maybe go to 0.1. Like, they used to run space combat as well, but haven't in a while. But yeah. Let's see. Maybe they realized, oh, well, actually with no atmosphere, this area is not exactly a realistic representation of what space combat from here would do anyway. And so we're gonna set it up, but we're gonna, you know, mostly just use the ground vehicles. And this is just sort of like a placeholder. Maybe it's not even it doesn't even have all of its internal components, you know what I mean? This particular saber. But also I do need to center it or place it based on an actual scaffolding. So whenever I get, I guess I should delete this. This is where I wish you could put transparent textures. If I could put a glass like 30% on this thing and then lock it so I couldn't touch it and then build inside of this thing, it would give me a great block out that I could just art inside of, like draw within the lines and make my way up, because I really like this shape here, you know what I mean? I think that maybe I'll have this shape plus like something going on with these, obviously, but yeah, connecting it to it. But anyway, but at least I've got my foot down here and my footprint, and that will do the job for me. And then I also need to adjust these things around it to make it fit a little better, but yeah. And I'll go off of that and build my way up. I think I'm not going to delete it. I'm just going to drag it back so I can sort of have it as a visual reference for how the scaffolding looked as I go. I think that'd be kind of cool. Anyway, so we need to come up from here, and I think that looking at it now, I think I do like the idea of catwalks on both sides, mainly because I like the idea that when you're attacking this route, you have a couple different options. Because I imagine the enemy is going to go up there and then decide to move forward and potentially come down here to attack from this route, or potentially capture this and then afterward move into the base. So at the beginning, when the building is down, you pretty much have two options. You can go around the outside, or after I put some sand dunes here and stuff like that, maybe you could jump up onto the platform and make your way across this platform. It'll just be a giant flat space, right? Where you're open to enemy attack very easily. But that you don't need to attack enemy bases at that during that part of the game. So that's not going to happen too often. It's mostly going to be people who are trying to shut down the enemy in their own base, like infiltrate the enemy base to stop them from getting points with the energy, with the fusion coils, bringing them back to their base. And they would probably do that right after they shut down the enemy by taking this base from them. I just put myself inside of the object. Like whenever they're over here, they might capture this and then go, okay, how can I continue to thwart the enemy? And they might go forward and then try and make their way into the base and kill them before they can replace their fusion coils back inside of their collection point. So, the idea here would be that we want this to sort of, you know, it'll be a giant flat open area, like I was saying, and then whenever it rises up, we would have multiple routes. You could continue to go through the back, like I was saying before. You could climb up onto the platform and then go between the columns, which would be the fastest route, I believe, even faster than going around the back, because that one requires you to go all the way around. It's the most direct route. And then on top of that, or like as a third option, you could go up the you could go around the back, actually, I guess, here. Or you could go up the catwalk, go up into the catwalks, and give yourself a height advantage. And if there are weapons in the catwalks, that would work too. That would also be an incentive to go up there and try things out. So, the idea here would be, I think that it would be a good idea to put the catwalk, put a sort of, you know, crisscross staircase on the side here and over there. And I'm just talking through why I'm deciding that. And back here, I'm not sure what I'm going to put back here yet still, but might be just more crates. And they might be there even at the beginning, so this isn't entirely flat. You'd have a couple crates, like where this forklift is, for example. It would be like it had carried some crates over here. And like how I did it over here, where these crates are going to be here even whenever the building is down. And this like loading dock is. So you can kind of see them over here. This is kind of what it's going to look like before the building comes up. Which it's designed to look like a construction crew's, you know, like the foreman's, you know, desk and some tools and some, you know, equipment and stuff like that they would need, and then it rises up and then it becomes a loading dock for the building. So it's one or the other. It's one and then it becomes the other after the building rises up. It's going to visually sort of fit for both the building being down and the building being up. But yeah, okay, so now we need to do staircases that scissor, or whatever you call that, where they go back and forth like that. Pretty sure they call that scissored staircases. Ooh, this would be cool. Yes, I like that. What if there is a fuel truck for refueling the Saber back here? And it could just be parked here. And at the beginning, that's all that's up here. And then after the building rises up, it kind of blocks off this path back here. It almost like closes this path off and makes it to where now you're kind of... You could go that way, you still can, it's not so closed off. But it is something where like you could be completely blind to enemies trying to defend their base there. But if you go this route, you're a little bit more protected because you've got cover as you go. Oof, what's going on with my phone right now? And then, so, yeah, I like that a lot, but I don't want it right there. I'm going to figure out a better place to put it and stuff. Honestly, it might even be better back here. Like right over here. But anyway, I also need to find out where the walls are going to be so that I don't clip it into the building as the building rises up. And I also just might move the forklift back here and put the fuel, you know, tanker closer to the, like, right over here or something. But anyway, yeah, let's figure out the staircase. Let's do that. I'm mumbling. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Quit selecting that. Quit hitting the wrong buttons, William. Quit hitting the wrong buttons. Okay, we need, where are the ramps? That's in another, like the, I don't think it's in accents, right? That's in, it's in structures, slopes, and then you've got these. I'm thinking at the bottom. Okay, up high, I would like to use these, because they'll look like catwalk ramps. But down low, I can have like an actual like platform area of the building. So we could have like these stairs first. You know what I mean? Or not necessarily these. These are really big. Maybe I think you can scale them, but let's see, where's the wedge? Yeah, no, it is this one for sure. And they're real. Oh, you can't scale them. I can't scale them because I got to make them dynamic. So whatever it is I pick, They've got to be dynamic. So let's see. Static, dynamic. There we go. Oh, do they just rescale on their own a little bit? Or was that my imagination? These are really huge. Like, holy crap. They're like as wide as this truck. This is like for a really big building. Okay. I don't think I can use this at the bottom. They're too big. Let's go with stairs medium. Because that should be able to be the right scale for where I'm going. Yeah, this looks good. So I could have it come up and have a platform there. And it would be on both sides of the building, there'd be a staircase, which would be kind of cool looking, to be honest. And you'll come up and then turn right, and you'll be in the first layer of the structure. I might even do a second, like the second layer might be like this, going up to where you would like I was saying, like maintenance the engines, and then have the additional staircase on the side that's going to crisscross be higher up. You know what I mean? I think that would be pretty cool. As a instead of a boring, just like a big old tall like fire escape style crisscrossing staircase, we would have a little bit more unique. I need to go to 45 degrees. Well, not right this second. There we go. We would have something more along the lines of this, you know. No, bring me up to the second one. Okay. Now turn off snapping. Something like this. Where like... Or maybe still a little more like this. Have them both in the same direction, but lined up a little differently. And then you could wrap around the back and have a bunch of technical stuff connected to there for the next floor. Yeah, I'm liking this. Okay. I don't know if you guys can envision what I'm trying to say, but just putting staircases here is giving me the inspiration I need for figuring out where I'm going with this. Okay, let's put some blocks. Let's put some actual like floors, so that you can understand what I'm doing here. Can't scale it, so I can't use this floor. So I need to actually use. Where are the actual like? I mean, there's the Halo design set. And, oh, you know what it is? What I'm thinking of? I need to use primitives, blocks, Forerunner block, UNSC block might work. And then that one, if I turn it to dynamic, I can adjust its scale. Find some good flat ones for catwalks. There are no flat ones. Oh my god. Well, I'm trying to do the base anyway. The base is going to be more, or less catwalky. And more like, okay, what I want to know is what happened to that side that had the cool X on it. Oh, it was that stuff. Okay. So whenever it's this size, yeah. Okay, so I want that to be the outside of the building, I think. And I want this to be at the height of the ladder. And I might end up losing the shape a bit because I have to use dynamic objects, and if I do, as you can see, it's getting a little bit longer than I was intending. But if that happens, I can scale this thing to match whatever my building is. I could also move this forward, actually, to sort of line up at the front of the building instead of being a little bit back like that. But I like the idea of it being recessed because if I have a column there to sort of make out that shape, you know, then you'd have a bit of cover just as you get to the bottom of the staircase. From that direction, so I kind of do like that, but we'll see. For now, though, this is going to come over here and snap to there, so that you've got, I can go this direction with more blocks, or you can come up here and go up the staircase. And then we want another block, but that UNSC block can't be as flat as I want. So it's got to be the primitive block for most of this, where we can get some very nice, flat, long panel-like blocks, like this one. This one's pretty good. This one's longer. Let's see which one is the right size. This will also determine the actual shape of this thing, because if I had to scale it to fit a width that the dynamic object is limited to, then that's what I've got to do. I got to pull a halo reach. Good, they made this dynamically scale to the same as the ladder, staircase, which was sort of expected. Okay, you know what? I don't want the 32. Oh, dang it. No, I do want that. I just don't want this to be 32. Whoop. I want to be that 16. There we go. That way I can put another one on this side, and then I can put a block in between them, which could potentially go out toward that. So, and I definitely want it to connect around back to that spot. So what I need is, I've got my primitive blocks, but I need to do a primitive, not pyramid. Do they have triangles? There we go. Okay, I want to know how this thing can go, because this building was all triangles before. There's all like angles and stuff, so we definitely want some of this. Dynamic. What scales do they have here? Okay. Big, but not big enough to really be used the way I want it to. I don't think that's going to be big enough. Like if I wanted to rebuild that angle, I would not be well to do it this way. It would be better to use like an actual. Let's try this one and see what the primitive ones have. Let's see. Not too many more variations. In fact, it looks like it's the same. Unlike the block, which had like a ton of permutations, triangle has very few. What does trapezoid have? Trapezoids are nice. Having a UNSC trapezoid would be cool, especially as like a part of the floor. Like if I did, even if this was just like an artistic thing where practically it doesn't do much, you know what I mean? Like something where the floor goes off into a cool angle would be nice. So we'll consider that. I'll hold on to that for a bit. It might be something that's like in the back, actually. Like if I put this at that height, right? And then I brought it over here and put it in the middle. And I made it to where the floor at the bottom has this part that pokes out. Then I could put an equipment, or like a special equipment or a weapon right there, weapon platform, and that'd be a good spot for that. And it'd be something that you could theoretically that you could clamber onto and grab, or it could be something else. But like that could be like something like a grapple shot spot. It'd be a good one for that. So I'm gonna leave that there and think about it as I go. I think I need to duplicate this, and what I need to do is reset its rotation every time you duplicate a dynamic object. You do not want to mess up your map like that. Okay, and I've got that side. I think what I want is to use it like this. Oh, nope. It's still... Okay, there we go. And then, consider it doing it like this, like having that little ledge, this little line along the ladder. The staircase looks good, so I'm going to keep that, then do this direction, and then what I could do, and this is all going to be, like I said, kind of determined by the actual width of all of these objects. This is going to affect the actual width of this structure, because I need to be able to mirror it. I need to be able to go off of from one side to the other. So I'm thinking this looks good. And I'm going to go like this. And then another cube over here. And this is all going to kind of create a good solid footprint, I think, for me. And then everything above that needs to be based on that. Oh yeah, I'm not resetting my rotations. That's kind of 100% vital. Let me do that. Whoa, I didn't mean to select two different objects at the same time. Okay. Well, anyway. Okay. Whoops. Okay, here we go. I did not do that correctly somehow. Okay. Okay, now it's good. Should be anyway. Okay, and then this one's reset, and then like that. Because I have essentially designated... Okay, this needs to move. And then this one can line up with that. Good. Okay, so I've essentially designated this side, this sort of crate wall style thing, as the walls, as best I can. Whereas the this side with these like little tabs are floors. And then I'm going to change the texture of them whenever I get a little bit further into it. And I think that over here I have it to where, yeah, the wall is on the outside edge. Although maybe, actually, I should line that up like this, because then it will match that wall more closely, and then this side can look like whatever. It won't be a big deal. No, I kind of do like it with that side having its own little panel. Like there's an access panel that you can remove. And then this part doesn't need an access panel because that part has an access panel and this part has an access panel. So, you know what I mean? Like, it just kind of feels like the building could be disassembled in some way to be, like, maintenance. Like, maybe it's got stuff going on inside there, mechanical things you don't want to know about until you're, you know, needing to. Until you're on the need-to-know basis. But I think this one is actually going to snap into place that way and line up pretty closely with the ground. So if I do it that way, I would also have my wraparound to go back toward those buildings, this area, without protruding too far out this way. So I'll keep my shape. I definitely need a giant triangle here to give my effect there, and I really liked that, so I want to figure that out. But the triangle object is, like we saw earlier, not ideal for this. Let me see. We've got rings and spheres and pyramids. Pyramid might work if it will go to the right size. Let's try UNSC pyramid first because that's got the better texture, but it probably won't go to the right scale that we want. Okay. If we wanted this to be flat, that's not it. Whoop. I think that might, maybe this, anyway, world, and then we could go down. I don't think this is going to work, but if we put it inside of another object, it might be okay. And then if we line it up this way, I don't know if this would be worth it to do all this nonsense with this piece. This object needs to twist. Yeah, that's not worth it. Looks weird. Right? That's not worth it, is it? Like, it creates a platform from the top, which is kind of cool. And then, but then like this weird upward slope. That's not good, is it? I almost feel like it is. I almost feel like it would be kind of cool to have this opening here. Since it's a dynamic building, it can't really do much differently. And we need to go to accents as well. I think some accent pieces could probably do this triangle very nicely, especially if they were a Forerunner piece that we repurposed for this. There's some Forerunner triangles that are very nice and maybe the right size. So let's try that real quick. We can try looking in UNSC multiplayer or UNSC first. Like this angled wall insert, that's literally the size of the piece originally, and it might be interesting to try and figure out a way to incorporate it in. Let's reset its rotation, go to 45 or 15 degrees because it's all off by 15. For example, its paneling is really nice, and I could theoretically work it into like here. Like if I did that, and then I turned off magnet and just sort of poked it up through, for example. Nah. Basically, I used it over here in case you're wondering. It's this piece here. And it's got this nice like checker mark on the back, so it can give you some really good like strength. I might literally do it like this somewhere. Actually. Maybe this could be the middle of it down here. Right? and line it up to where it lines up with that trapezoid, right? And then they'll sort of wrap around the engines and then have this sort of protrusion in the back. That's not bad. In fact, I could line it up like this even, and like clip it through there in some way, but obviously not this tall. Something that won't make the floor work differently. Hard to say. I don't necessarily want to bring it up high because it'll get rid of the sort of catwalk feel. Unless I did it up high and then did some kind of column holding it up, or columns plural holding it up, like those coming in from above, would kind of give it this effect. But this thing does come with its own pipes and its own ventilation and everything like that. That'd be really great for being connected to this thing. Like, if honestly, if it was almost like literally like touching the thing, you know, as the place it's connected to, as its connection point. I'd probably have to put some kind of actual scaffolding between there to sort of make it look like it's connected, but yeah. That would almost be pretty cool. Let's switch it to dynamic real quick, just to make sure it doesn't rescale on us. That would be pretty cool. Obviously it's not centered to the building right now, it's centered to the plane. The saber. Okay. So, like, if I brought this over and centered it, it would be, like, there. Right? And then the scaffolding would have to go around it, and already we're having a headspace issue, which means I'd need to bring this up. Which means this would be the scaffolding that attaches to that connects to the cockpit. And its shape would fit that pretty well. Like, the way it sort of wraps around like this would be pretty cool for having catwalk coming out that would sort of connect to there. Or I could even, instead of doing catwalk coming out, I could have the catwalk like it's lowered, like it's not in position to get into the ship. But I think being able to come out around it would be kind of cool. Because like it's ready to launch at any time. Which would mean that actually the support columns would come down on the front, not in the back for this piece. So all of this scaffolding would still work, and then this and all of this, it would just be above here. So, for example, if I wanted to continue it down, I could duplicate it, fix its rotation, snap it into position here, and then have that there, and center it, still center it even better than I currently have it, apparently, because it's still not centered. And that would be a cool wall there for this catwalk area, but then the question would be, how would you do the maintenance section? The section I was talking about where it'd be like getting access to the engines. And maybe because the engines poke out, I could have the maintenance be like a thing you come to, literally just the maintenance of the engines. And then like anything that would be in here would be like automated kind of thing. I could put like some little robot arm like things in there. I'm pretty sure there are some pieces that have what could easily look like robot arms if put into the correct position, you know? In which case you could still maintenance these, you get access to these panel-looking things. And that would be pretty cool. Are these the fuel spots, or are these for, are those thrusters? For, re-angling yourself. I think those are thrusters. This would probably be where the fuel goes in. Boy, howdy, this texture's low. Weak. Is that the scratch amount? Yes. Yes, it is. The scratch texture is weak, the sand is weak, but that could just be a texture thing, a bug that happens pretty frequently on this map, so... it's been happening to me a lot. Not, like, just on this map, but in general it happens a lot. But it happens on this particular, what do you call it, canvas, I think, more than it did on Myers, but I could be wrong. Anyway. In other words, I think that'll look much nicer whenever you're playing on better graphics than my computer can handle. Okay, so I've now shortened this, of course, to here, but I can actually move the Saber and both platforms. The platforms are located for the Saber. If I move it out to not get rid of my scaffolding's depth like that, and then we switch this to object movement, so we can slide it over here. Like that. That's roughly centered. And I can make it a little more precise in some way. Find a way to create a snap point for it to be more precise. But yeah, then the catwalk would come around here, around that corner, connect to here. So I was talking about wanting something in the back of the building. Now the back of the building is like part of the catwalk, so it actually is becoming much more dynamic looking and a more interesting shape anyway. And controlling the back of this building will control this entire path and cut you off from the rest of the map and create a little micro encounter space here. But something nice has to be up on this scaffolding, like maybe a skewer spawn or something like that. Something nice has to be up here. Like we gave you your vehicle, let's give you your anti-vehicle as well. Might be a good idea. But at the same time, if this is the first one you get, maybe this is where the anti-vehicle needs to be, so that before we give you tanks, when you have your anti-vehicle for Warthogs, and then once the tanks come in, you've already got your... If you haven't leveled up to this point, you at least have your skewer ready to go to take out the enemy's tanks. You won't have to go tank to tank, but you can go skewer to tank. But another thing about it would just be that that's the third one that comes up, so this one's the second one, so maybe you just, I don't know. We'll figure that out as we go. These pieces are all, by the way, set to regular size, so that I could have a bunch of objects that I could play with. I really like this one, like a lot. It feels really cool for scaffolding supports and stuff like that. So I'll probably make use of that here. And these are all like in the arena or whatever, like the Halo, let me see. It's in the where is it? The was it Halo design sets? Where is it? I don't remember. Primitive, not primitives. It must be in Halo design set. There was something, there's like arena section, something like that. Cover. It's not in here. Was it structures? I don't remember it. There's an area in here that's got like that. I'm sure that you guys might know. Props? No. I don't remember where I got them from. Maybe it's in Accents. I don't remember. But they're from some kind of like arena something design set or something. I don't remember what it was. Oh, arena right here. There they are. It's just arena. That's where this one came from as well, which is really cool. So anyway, the point is that, for example, this piece looks like it could be some kind of maintenance connection point. It's actually a pretty good column too. Like it's actually mirrored. Not all of the pieces in this game are mirrored. Most of them are not. So like this could theoretically be some kind of column piece that I sort of attach into the wall to make it look less plain. And I could theoretically duplicate it upward and like actually have like a nice column, cool column there, something to that effect. But yeah, this is not working here though. Let's figure out, after going away and coming back, it definitely does not work, and I feel like I need to go back into UNSC. Actually, I might have something up here that will do the trick. So let's take a look at that first. I wish this could be mirrored. If we could mirror this to the other side, then I could put one over here and one over there, and that would almost be the right size, but not quite. This would be cool there, actually. Wait a minute. What if... Right? What if we had this? And we set it to dynamic. This could be really cool here. It would change the shape of our footprint, and maybe I would not be able to do this, but definitely changes the shape of our footprint. But it'd be really cool if I do it. What if I did it like... Actually, I could use it up top as an actual vent somewhere. But for now... No, I can't get that angle without cutting off my staircase. Unless I put my staircase off on the side. This needs to look like it comes up out of that floor panel, so I kind of can't. Break my floor pattern too much. I could theoretically add a section to it and just not use the floor pattern exactly. You know what I mean? Like, I could add a big old rectangular section on the sides. It doesn't have to be exactly like the floor pattern. This does look really cool to have. Like, if this thing fired off, right, and it's got these rockets going, you need to redirect that pressure and heat somewhere. And this could theoretically, like, it could go down into a filter and a collection point, and maybe even a generator or something off of just the launch of this thing could generate power for the building, or something to that effect, where it's capturing that heat and recycling it, and maybe venting it through here, or something to that effect. Whoop, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to sprint. But then having this up here would be really cool, although it's getting way too close to that, so I don't know. Maybe this won't work. Maybe like that, actually. That would work. That would be within the footprint. And then I could do something to block off the very bottom so it doesn't look like it's been... Yeah. Yeah, that looks like it would work pretty nicely. Like I said, if this could mirror, I could use it on both sides, and that would be a great place to put it right now, but unfortunately it does not mirror. Let's see, how big does this get whenever it's normal? Because I think this is... Yeah, there we go. This is what it actually looks like as a dynamic object. Oh my god, this is my piece, isn't it? This is actually my piece that I need for here. This would give me... This would match with the corner pretty perfectly. Then I bring this over here, and I attach it there, and have my vent there. I bring this down, and attach it, you know, there. It's almost perfect with the clipping there. Not quite, so I just have to adjust some things. Like that. Still looks a little bit off. So just bring it out a bit, like that. And then sort of eyeball the piece instead of snapping it. And now we've got a cool vent that's right underneath the engine. This mechanized piece here. You can come up here, and actually I can make the piece that would go down here and make this look nicer be part of the platform of the floor. And it would just sort of poke up a little bit there and look like some kind of, like, I could find a piece that looks like a hatch there. And I can make it so where whenever it rises up, that little piece right there will also cut off the bottom of this and make it look like the correct, like it's not clipping into something. It would add a layer. I can position it, I can make it the right thickness and move it down and stuff like that so that it cuts off the bottom but also looks like a cap to its 3D model instead of having it look like it's nasty clipping. I mean, theoretically, this won't look as nasty once I have more flooring down here anyway. You can only kind of tell as badly that it's clipping because you can see most of the build, most of the object. But I can add like an actual like a transition point, which is all you really need to make something look good. And of course, I need to recolor that. That's, you know, it's colored to the interior, to what I was using it for before. And then boom. Yeah, this is coming along nicely. Okay, so now I need this piece to be have its rotation reset, and let's see, have this actually snap in there, and then I can actually make it longer. Let's see if that's better. Yeah, and then that can determine the length of this can determine where this is going to be. Because I just kind of positioned it roughly above that ramp, but now I can actually position it above the ramp and sort of give it like a platform. I might need to go up. This might need to not just be flush. Yeah, I know what I need to do. I know exactly what I want to do here. Okay, so what I want to do here is go with the, go back to the ramps down here in structures. Slopes, I want to go with stairs small, and I want to put a little small staircase right here before I get over there. So it's not like a major height difference, but it's just enough to make a difference. Can you please snap to the top? Yeah, no, snap to this one. Oh boy. Okay, so let's snap this one to there, and then we'll make this one the snapping point and go boom, like that. Okay. But wait. This needs to be snapped in like this. So obviously this platform needs to be a little bit wider, and that's going to connect to the other scaffolding anyway. But this gives us our height difference that we want with a little bit of a dynamic structure to it. And that means that this is actually going to be at that height there. And we can move this over and do that. Okay, cool. And now we need to figure out what to do with this area up here. I'm honestly thinking that another one of these with the scale set to a different shape, like this one. Why did it... Oh, it just jumped weird. Okay, there we go. This would definitely do the trick. And then a triangle piece right there, sort of connected in, which would be a primitive, let's see, primitives, triangles. I wonder if the UNSC triangle, since they all have the same ones, I wonder if this one will look the best. It'll be thicker than the actual platform it's on. Ooh, these are not... Dang, I forgot they're not... They don't have a 90-degree angle on them, do they? Jeez. I wish they had an object that had a 90-degree angle on it. That was dynamic. Pretty sure to make a 90-degree angle with the... actually, they might have... If I go to Halo Design Set and I go to Floors, and I go with... Where's the triangle floor? Is it this one? Yeah, okay, that's the one I need. But if I go to dynamic, no, there's no other size for it. So it's once again going to be larger than the actual platform it's on, so I might need to make this have like a column underneath it. Oh, are you in normal? Yeah, go to phased. Thank you. Oh, this thing's rotation was never reset, was it? I just changed which type of block it was. I didn't reset its rotation. Okay, there we go. That should fix that problem. There we go. Now it's lining up. So if this thing is protruding down a bit, right, it'll kind of give a claustrophobic effect to this area, which is a little interesting. I kind of like that. Whoa, don't fall down. I'm thinking that these pieces can maybe be raised up and start here. And maybe even be angled with this slope. Like, I've got them clipping into the building for, you know, but like, what if this was like this? Right? And then we have those kind of sticking out the sides. I'd have to adjust them a little bit. I don't think I want them at that corner necessarily. Maybe in the front. Maybe lined up in the front here. Nope, that's going to hit the engines. But if it's something involving the maintenance, maybe it would be this way instead. How does that look? They're clipping through it. That's not bad. I don't know if I want two of them now, but maybe. Maybe still. And I'd go another piece up there. I know this is going to go all the way to the roof, you know. In which case, it might be cool to have this one flip over so that the access point up here would be around where you would actually need it, you know. And the access point down here would be around where you would need it. And then I could put a little small platform right there, another one of these. So that it sort of connects there and looks like, you know, maintenance crew can get to these pieces from here. And I kind of like that. Need some railing on some of these to make them really sold as catwalks. I also need to set textures. So I might have to set textures. Maybe I should now, but I think I can re-texture this. Since it's all a bunch of the same objects, basically. I can start setting textures in a little bit. I don't need to do them just yet. Okay, so we've got a cool shape here. I really like this. This obviously is going too far back, I think. It needs to come a little bit further this way, which is, that would be a good snap point right there. Actually, should I actually at this point go to this angle? And not here, necessarily, but connected in something like that. I did like the idea of the dynamic effect of having these two line up but be completely weird, like different heights, you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't expect this to be there without like another one coming that direction, so it kind of made it look like I think a kind of interesting shape. Well, like I said before, I can change the footprint of this. I also need to eventually grab all of these objects and shift them over to sort of line them up with the floor, with the ground, which I might need to be doing right around now. This piece would go, yeah, right here. And then I can sort of line them up on this side. Like if I make this my snapping point, I can line up with that corner, and it would pretty much line up the entire building, I think, actually. The way I've been building it, it kind of does line up correctly there. So this is kind of cool. I'm liking this. I do kind of want... So here's what I'm thinking. If I rotate this direction, like that, and I put something here that would look like something that would access this, right? And pretty much anything could go there. That would clip into the ground and sort of create a dynamic shape there. I think my daughter is waking up. She's in the swing right there. She's been sleeping this whole time. The baby. The bebe. Okay, one thing I do want to do is, I think that this, let's see, could probably be brought to a large double variant, done like this, and put in the same spot, and work exactly the same, but work for both sides. And then I can even try to center it by, if I put something snap to the middle of this, I can use it to snap this as well. What I can do is I can move this over, slide this over to fit this one being centered. And that would center the whole rest of my upper area to the bottom area. Because it doesn't need to line up exactly right with this. In fact, it'd probably be better to line up with this first step with that line, but that's going to be kind of impossible, so... yeah, she's definitely woken up. So I think I need to bring her... Well, actually, it's about time for me to get off. It is actually about time for me to get off, so maybe I should just... I was about to bring her to you, Alex. But then, yeah, so basically... There we go. I think this is coming along really cool. I think this is going to be a really cool firefight kind of area. If you come down here, you'll be able to grab like a power weapon. Might be more like there, not exactly on that, more like in the middle. This sort of platform here will be a cool little spot to be able to use. And it'll be nice and dark down here. And look, it lines up with where the support beams are. Look at that. I didn't even try to do that. But like, it looks like that is going up to support that floor. And then up here, yeah, it's coming up again. Look at that, right out of the floor. It's like, it looks like it's on purpose. But that was luck. Here's an access panel for you to do stuff. You know, maybe that's where the tools are dispensed, you know, that give you everything you need, or maybe parts come up through a chute and are supplied to you there. And then right here, we'd have something else that would actually be, like I said, I'm going to find something in accents, probably in UNSC accents, like something small. I really like these, and I want to use them. And I think I want to use them here. Not necessarily in this spot, but like in this area. Mainly, like maybe not there, but be the ones that are, maybe that could be the ones that are like up at the very top, whereas down here, like it's a roof, you know, rooftop panels. But then down here we'd have something else, you know what I mean? We'd have the regular as well. This is a really cool one that I like as well. It kind of looks like a crane. And I think that if we use this as something that's sort of going over to sort of reach out toward it, it would be very easy to sort of make it look like some kind of like access boom arm. It sort of gives you this this feeling like it's not quite ready to launch, but it can retract this. And if we put something in the middle of that, it'll look like it can slide, like right there at the very end. It'll look like it would slide back, you know, where this thing would just go along that edge and then be there. And it would not be, you know, right up against the vehicle anymore, and then the vehicle could launch. So if we line that up right, it could look a lot like that, which would help fit with this whole thing being so dynamic and cool looking. I think having a Saber launch zone that looks a lot like that too would be really cool. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. I don't even know if I need to go all the way to the top, because what I could do is theoretically make the top area, maybe you could get up there with a grapple shot or a repulsor, but there's no like ramp to get up there. Like the ramp looks like it's been raised up on a hinge. I could theoretically do that. Like it's not gonna come down until they're ready to launch, so because they don't want anyone to steal the vehicle. But not sure about that one. I might just I might let you get all the way up there, because having the ability to have the height advantage from that side and a height advantage on this side would be really cool. This one's supposed to be the greatest height advantage, though. Like, that was kind of the intent of this one. So I don't know if that's actually the best option. I mean, what I could do is, if this one ends up being pretty tall, and you've got this height over here, I mean, you'd still be countering against that cylinder over there that's going to be there. I don't know. It's kind of strange. It's kind of interesting. We'll find out. I really do think that forward momentum on this map, we've been talking about that for Waterworks. I need to think about that really hard on this map, because it's already starting to look like we have some trouble. You know what I mean? If we've got the base here, and we've got the vehicles spawning here, and we've got this, then you're kind of going to want to just stay up here until that tank spawns, and kind of just guard your tank spawn so the enemy can't take it, and then jump down there and get it yourself. So a lot of players will be hiding in here or over here, waiting for that tank to come in. You know what I mean? And forward momentum might not be too great on this map like that during the Slayer portion of the map. It'll be great during the objective portion, but then the Slayer portion will kick in, and then we'll be, you know, up a creek without a paddle, as far as that's concerned. So maybe I need to relocate this entire building, which would really suck, because having to move those dynamic cranes was a pain in the ass. But like if I moved it over there and rotated it this direction, where that's behind it, then it would be like, this just becomes like whenever you like, if it was at that angle, like that angle of the floorboard right there, went along like this part, and then this part sort of wrapped that way, then it would kind of be a totally different building. It'd feel completely different. But I think that this one being right next to the base is kind of important for it being a bunch of static objects that have been scaled, but they have to be there all the time, so it has to kind of be close to this, or else it feels like they didn't, you know what I mean? Whenever it's close, it's something they built right away. Anyway, this one over here, though, I definitely wanted to adjust. I was planning on actually moving it out and maybe rotating it or something like that, like changing it pretty drastically. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I'm looking at it, I'm thinking about the layout, and I'm thinking about what may need to be redesigned. I would love to hear some feedback if anybody has any thoughts on that. I think everybody's gone right now. I think I could save on parts here. And saving on parts means the animation will be smoother for Klen. And it is very simple too. I just have to go and paint this one. Oop, that's not the direction I want. One of these. Move it back. Snap it in there. And there we go. Same exact thing. One fewer object. That's pretty good. And like I said, something cool right here, some dynamic object. That's not bad, but unfortunately it doesn't mirror, so I wouldn't be able to do the same thing on the other side. I really like this piece, and I really wish it could mirror. Because if you had two of these on opposite sides of a building, or like a ship, you know what I mean? Like that could be, it's got this access, it's like ladder that also maybe could be a hatch that comes off, and then like all these hoses and stuff. It's really cool. It might be something I can put somewhere on this, but for now I need something that's a little more, you know, a terminal might work. data tower might work. Flips into it too much. Size doesn't work. Maybe if it was like this, but then like what does that look like down below? Not the end of the world, actually. Doesn't look terrible. Actually, kind of don't hate that, but I don't like the way it looks right there. I think that maybe I'd have to, if I wanted to do that, I'd have to bring this out, and I don't know if I want to do that. So, I think I'm not going to do this. Maybe sideways. No. No. That's no good, and that looks like a terminal, so, a monitor, so, makes it look really weird. Okay, well, we're getting close to when I've got to go, so I did just realize that this could decorate some of the walls in that UNSC building to make it look a little nicer. But I could, similarly, I could decorate the walls on the outside of this because I can set this to a dynamic object. I just hope I don't have too many objects in these buildings for Klen, because that is a legitimate worry. Where did that go? This is actually probably a good piece for this. I mean, it's not exactly an air conditioner. Oh, you know what? It doesn't mirror. Nope. Not a good piece for this. I need something that can go on this side and on the other side. We do have this podium. I think that's too big. Yeah. Floor storage. That's one-sided. This, I think, is... No, it's not. It doesn't mirror. Nope. Needs to be something that's useful on both ends. Actually, I could do something different on each end that basically serves the same purpose. That wouldn't be too bad. You know what I mean? Because that would kind of look like... No, it is. It does. Yeah. Keep on going back and forth on things. But I think I do need something that does. That is the same on both sides, because if I don't... Then, oh, those are loudspeakers. Then it won't look like you're maintaining this thing from it. It would look like something weird. Like if it looks too different, then it won't make any sense. It's just got to cover that hole in the ground, and also serve to do this. This is mirrored, I believe. Yeah, so we could theoretically put this on the ground here. Yeah, it feels like a little... Like a ladder could come up out of this or something. Some kind of maintenance equipment. It looks like it could be some part of the maintenance. It doesn't look bad underneath either. Yeah. Okay. This looks pretty good. It could be like where you refuel it. It could be something else. There's no telling. But the actual thrusters also miss it. They clear it. Yeah. This looks pretty good. I think we're good. Let's see. I think this is looking pretty nice. Then we need, obviously, like I was saying, we need some railing. I really like this thing with its dynamic, like whenever you walk up to it, it sort of extends. I think that's kind of cool. I'm not sure what it would do and why you would use it, because like why would you want this thing to extend specifically whenever you walk up to it? I don't know. But, you know, it could be cool as something, as part of this thing, like on the roof or something, I don't know. Anyway, let's see. We want to go with... I think what we need is another one of these. We need to reset its rotation, of course, because it's a dynamic object. And we need to rotate it this way, and I think we need to put this as longer. And as, like, that. Then I don't want it to poke out that far, so we need to bring this direction. Which is probably something I need to do with mouse and keyboard, actually, because then I can snap this to a corner and then allow you to shift it. And then under here, I can put something interesting, like a crate full of fuel or something like that, like one of those pallet water, something to this effect. You know, I'm just going to stick a water pallet for now, just to show you what I mean. Like I could put something that looks like like some kind of storage. We're just gonna turn off snapping for now. That they would use over there, and would create a sort of loose cover, something people could see you through. It would probably not actually hit you through all that easily unless you're like hiding up here and then like someone snipes you from over there. But anyway, and then up here, I think this is going to be, this would be the maintenance, the area. We've already got the maintenance, right? So we've got our floor, you know, we've got our structural, like the building's first floor, you know, or like our basement or floor. Now we've got our maintenance, and now we need to get up to control. So actually, I made this one long, but I want to bring it back to short. And then I want to turn it in, and then I want to connect it into another one of these. And I want this to be right around there, so that we can get up to there. Let's see. If we did this one like a basic... Here, we'll do this because I think this would basically line up. The bottom one. Could be wrong. But I think... come on now. You're just not going to snap to this one for some reason? Okay, well... Oh, well, let's reset your rotation first. And there we have it. Now, hopefully it will... Sometimes, rotation will do it. Where if you flip it around. I had this happen before with these blocks. Yep, there... No, it's still not... It just hates this magnet point. It'll take that one, but not the other one. Anyway. I'll do that for now, and I'll just fix it a little bit. Because... You know what I didn't do, though? I didn't reset the rotation of the ladder. I mean the staircase, whenever I duplicated it. So it could actually not even be in the right spot. Nope, that still didn't fix that thing though. Anyway, okay, so now we can bring this up here and line this up, and then grab that one and move it back, and maybe this one will... There we go. That'll get it to work. Okay, so we've got that, and then we can sort of create our top floor. This one's a really simple one, where essentially we just want this floor to line up with this, and we want this piece, which means we can do another one of these. We want to go up here. We want to go right there. And we want a little platform to come around from there to there, but that is not quite tall enough. Well, first let's do this. Whoop. Let's see. We need to find the right size for this, which I think is going to be the square. And I think that what we're going to have to do with this is actually... Okay, why is it not... There we go. I think that this simple square needs something going on with it. Might be where we can put access to something like this. Like if we, like I was talking about before, if somehow there's a control terminal up here that looks like it would control this and maybe some other gizmos that are up here, that would be like right in your sight line. Like you'd be able to see that and the control for it, like right there. So the little control terminal would be pretty cool for right there. But we will see. This, however, is not going down far enough. I think this might go too far, but I'm going to find out. Okay, I think that what's going to have to happen is we have to adjust our height to match of this piece and that one to match this thing, which unfortunately means we would lose that cool effect where the where that sort of crisscross is sort of scaffolding is sort of applying really nicely to that floor. But you know what it would do? It would put this crisscross. I think the bottom, if we raised it up to this height, the bottom of this crisscross and the top of this crisscross would kind of line pretty nicely up with these two floors. So we'll lose one where it looks like it's supporting that floor pretty nicely, and we'll gain one. So that's not too bad. And then we just gotta raise it up like this. But also, let's sort of bring this over to where it's not quite snapped, because we might be able to use that as a snap point to get this height exactly right with this here. Nope, it is trying to snap over there. Let's just turn off snapping and try to eyeball it, I suppose. Nope, that's not gonna work. Okay, I might need to use mouse and keyboard for this. Yeah. Let's switch to mouse and keyboard, resume, and then I guess that's the best spot. Well, really, oh boy, I'm using not just the green, or not just the red, I mean, there we go. That is probably the best spot, yeah. And then I'll figure out the actual center point for that later. We have the we have it close, and that doesn't quite line up like I would like. So I think that what I'm going to do is, ooh, we didn't raise up the saber with it, which is kind of annoying. There we go. That'll give us our, yeah, that'll make that look cool. And now we need to center it this direction, which I think is like that. Center it down here. Oh, but then that doesn't center it with this. Yeah, we'll just move it all over whenever we center this piece to that piece. Okay. We'll move it over with this piece. Anyway, and then I can put something there, like a slope of some kind, that will make an access, or a little staircase or something like that, that will give you that little step up to get to your cockpit. Which I actually raised it without raising this thing, so now I don't think the cockpit quite lines up. Yeah, no, it's fine. Okay. There we go. And, yeah. And then I'll mirror this to the other side. So it's a whole bunch of scaffolding and cool shapes and all that stuff. This part is where it gets to, like, come up here, and then up here, and then up here, you know, and you end up with this. I'm liking this for now. I think that you'd end up getting killed a lot, so I'm not sure what the purpose of coming up here would be other than a power weapon or power equipment. Like, this could literally be where we spawn, like, invisibility or something like that. Or something to that effect, you know? But, I also have not tied these into the front of it, but honestly, at this point, do they need to be? If it's part of some kind of launch structure, then they might just be columns. You know what I mean? They may not need to have another purpose, because they could be where it's supported and stuff like that. But yeah. But I could theoretically find something that ties them in across the top. Sorry. But yeah, I am liking this so far. Mirror it to that side, it'll look really cool. And it'll rise up, but I am wondering what you'll get out of this, aside from the tank starting to spawn. It's like this rises up out of the ground, and what you get is not this, you get a tank. Maybe it feels a little weird. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Klen about it. I think. This is one of those design decisions I think I would need to discuss with Klen. I also think that looks a little weird, so I'll have to add something to it. That sort of like comes down from it. Like I was talking about railing, and I may, by the way, the reason I haven't put railing yet is because I may not be able to put railing because I might add so many objects to this that the building would look better without it, potentially. Rather, it will look just as good without it, and then it'll look better if it, you know, can actually rise out of the ground. So I think that this is probably still the best bet. But yeah, this does look pretty cool. Lots of catwalks, stuff like that. It doesn't sort of, like I was saying about potentially wanting to move the whole thing over there, it doesn't sort of divide the map into segments as nicely as I would like. You know what I mean? Obviously there'll be respawn points with this that come with this, and some of them might be up high. So it might still be pretty cool in that regard. But what I'm talking about right now is like, if you've got this structure, right? Okay, you have your base, and your base is far from over there, and we need to create momentum. Like, I've got a lot of this cool stuff like that. Draws your attention for... I need to get off. I've been meandering. Draws your attention for like the objective part of the map, but then whenever you get to the actual Slayer part of the map, I'm thinking about how forward momentum would work and like going to kill your opponent. Like, I mean, obviously you spawn here and your teammates are dying and you need to get them help, right? You know, something like that might be enough of an incentive to go out into the fight. And this not being a sniper point, honestly, maybe this is where rockets are. You know what I mean? If this were where rockets are, that would definitely, I kind of wish they still had the Archer missile pod. Because it'd be really easy to build a structure up here that looks like it's supposed to equip this Saber with its Archer missile pods, right? So that it can launch its Archer missiles. But without the ability to do that, it kind of feels a little odd, you know what I mean? Like, if there was an Archer missile pod and it was like, they modernized it, I made it much more useful instead of being like as a gun turret. It was like angled upward. It worked, but it was kind of weird. Everything was about it was a little strange, and it only had like 8 shots, so you'd get one and then you'd like, you know, fire off 8 times and then it'd just be gone. But like, yeah, actually, you know, it would work up here. If I had the lock-on rocket launcher up here, it would be worth it to climb up here to grab that. Yeah, we might use campaign weapons. Because I think that going all, like if I had respawn points down low and you had to go, okay, well, instead of helping my team, I'm going to come whoops. I'm going to go, that might need a railing right there just to make sure people don't just fall right off. But I'm going to go all the way up here, risk getting sniped all the way up this thing. And you're going to want to watch your opponents to see if they're appearing out as they poke out from around here. And then I'm going to get all the way up here just to grab something. What would it be that's worth grabbing? Well, this is a launch site, so theoretically a landing pad with a wasp would make sense, but I wanted to put the wasp in the 3rd upgrade building. That would be over there, and if we give you a tank and a wasp at the same time, that doesn't make sense. That's way too powerful. So instead, though, your anti-tank might be useful. And if you were coming in here and your enemy just got their tank ready, and you're coming through here, you might go up here just to get that, come back down and fire down on the enemy tank and take it out from up here. So this might be something that you would want to steal from your opponent, which would create a lot of forward momentum because you need to get over here to be able to take out their tank if they have this tower, but you don't on your side. That would be kind of, you know, a big deal. Let's see. So if we go to gameplay and we go to weapons, let's see, weapon spawners. And we put a weapon pad here up on this platform. And we did something, and we set it to, where is it? That's spawn properties. Where is it? Static weapon. Static selection enabled, and it would be a, what is they got the M41 Spanker. It's some kind of tracker, I think. It's called the tracker of some kind. Wait, where are they? I only see the basic weapons. What? Wait a minute. Hold on. What are you talking about? Oh, include. Is that right? Will it now appear? Since when can you not select the legendary weapons? Okay. Tier power, class, launcher, legendary van, let's see, faction, UNSC, randomize, or not just include, but preferred, randomize, I guess, every game. Okay. Symmetrical channel will be alpha. Previous hologram on, rotate item on, nav point is on. Maybe we do want that for this particular map, because it's going to be halfway through the map that suddenly all these things appear. I think we do want a nav point on for that. That would also mean we'd have to tell it to not spawn. Do not spawn weapons until you're up, and then whenever you're up, start spawning, which, so maybe not. We don't want the nav points to be underground. I need to find out from Klen if that's even a thing he can do with his, you know, power weapon pad, selective channel, none. Let's see. So yeah, basically if we do that, and you can get the tracker rocket launcher up here, the legendary rocket launcher up here, that would be worth it to climb all the way up this ramp. Or to use as a good sniper point, you know? So, yeah. Yeah. Okay, anyway, I gotta get going. This has been taking a lot of time. And I really need to get going. So, I will catch you guys later. And for now, yeah, this is kind of what you're going to see for this place. I need to mirror it to the other side, center it, arrange it to be like more precise. Put some railings, specifically a railing here would be useful. Potentially around this corner, you know, and maybe a railing like on the back here as well. All of the backside portions seem like they need a railing. Maybe I could put a giant column that will look like, you know, part of the mechanism that raises it out of the ground or something. This column may be shifted. This one I like a lot, but if I don't like where it is, I could flip it over. Like there's a gap there. I could potentially flip it over and make it fill that gap and just have this part up on top instead of on the bottom. But yeah, anyway, that's a lot of stuff I'm going to do. But I'm going to do probably off stream today or something, or maybe on stream tomorrow morning. But yeah, this has been a good stream. I'll catch you guys later. Yeah.